Hello Commanders, Commander Plater here, back with another Elite Dangerous video, and today I'm going to be telling you how to outfit for core mining and how to identify asteroids with mother lodes in them. This is going to be a pretty comprehensive video, so no surprise I do suggest you watch the whole thing. Let's start with the ships that are capable of core mining. You'll need a ship that has at least one size 2 or medium hardpoint and another size 1 or small hardpoint. This rules out the Sidewinder, the Hauler, the Eagle, the Type 6, the Dolphin and the Type 7. The reason why these ships are all ruled out is due to the fact you need a seismic charge launcher which only comes in one size, medium or size 2. Obviously the more you can spend on a ship the better, but let's take a look at a budget outfitting and start with some of the essentials. I've chosen an adder to start with, and at 87,000 credits it should be a great starter ship. I recommend you make at least 1 million credits first so outfitting is easier. A quick way to do this is watch my Making Your First Million video, which is going to be linked below. Bear in mind that if your first trip goes well when you're core mining, you could make 1.6 million per ton mined, and a single mother lode will fill your hold in smaller ships quite easily. Let's start with hardpoints. In the medium you're going to need a seismic charge launcher, and in the small you're going to need an abrasion blaster. The seismic charges will break open a core and the abrasion blaster will chip the pieces off that are exposed inside. As you won't be able to take much in the way of combat, you can leave the second hardpoint empty. If you're on a budget, you're best sticking with a fixed variant of these weapons as they're cheaper than the turreted, and if you're mining on your own, they can operate in exactly the same way. Next up, the utilities. The key utility you're going to need is the Pulse Wave Analyzer. This will show you which asteroids are worth investigating. The other utility mounts can be filled with whichever modules you see fit. I personally recommend that you look into some defense modules, whether it be chaff or point defense. We're going to leave core internals for a minute. We'll come back to them, which will all make sense in a moment. For your optionals, you will need a refinery. Refineries are where your mined materials will go to be processed. As you mine the materials, they're stored in a bin. A larger refinery will ensure you don't have to worry about bin management, as there are more bins. Once you have enough of a material, a single ton of the material is placed into your cargo racks. You want as much cargo space you can get into your ship of choice. You will also need a detailed surface scanner to locate the hotspots. We're going to come back to that later on when we talk about how to actually find them. But you do need to leave enough space for 2 Olympic controllers. A Collect Olympic controller is a nice to have, and a Prospect Olympic controller is pretty essential. This will tell you what an asteroid contains. Finally, in your optionals, I recommend you do take a shield if you can. This is due to when the core is detonated, there's a shockwave that's sent out which will damage your ship if you're too close. Note, in this budget build, I don't have space for one. So now we circle back to core internals. These can be left pretty much stock if you're on a shoestring budget, but I do recommend you A-rate your FSD and your engines, followed by your power distributor. When it comes to your power plant, the smallest you need to power everything on your ship will do just fine. You can derate everything else for extra jump range to make your ship a bit lighter, but before you leave the hangar, make sure that you do go and buy some limpets. On to how to find hotspots in the rings and the mother lodes within them. You're going to need a detailed surface scanner. In order to find the mother lodes, they are best found in a hotspot. To find the hotspots, you will need to launch a probe into the planetary ring. Icy rings will contain void opals, low temperature diamonds, alexandrite and grandidorite. Void opals will pay the best, so we are going to focus on them in particular in this guide. Once inside the planetary ring, you'll need to turn on night vision even if it's light, and use your Pulse Wave Analyzer to look for glowing asteroids. These will have the highest concentrations of materials, but you are looking for a certain kind of asteroid, as there is only one type of ice asteroid that can be blown up and will contain the good stuff. This is the type of asteroid you are looking for. They look a little bit like pumpkins, or maybe popcorn, and not all of these types of asteroids actually contain mother lodes, so you will need to take a closer look for fissures, and they look a little bit like this. But with night vision, they look like this. So, a lot easier to spot. Once you've identified the fissures, fire a Prospect Limpet into the asteroid. This will tell you what exactly is contained and where all the fissures are. To detonate the asteroid, you're going to need to fire seismic charges into the fissures. For starters, I suggest you use the same strength charges that the fissure suggests. Setting your charge strength is down to how you use the fire button. You tap the fire button for a low strength. For a medium strength, you hold the button until the first bar on the targeting reticule is full and then release. To fire a high strength charge, you'll need to hold the fire button until the second bar is completely full and you are filling up the third one and then release. You can also hold it until you're ready to release it, as it won't fire off on its own. The goal of this is to get the wavy lines in the top right hand corner into the blue and say optimum yield. This will mean that the asteroid, when it explodes, will give you the most number of fragments released. If you overcook the asteroid and the lines go into the red, don't worry, you can go to the left hand panel, select the seismic charge that took you over, and then choose to disarm it. Before it explodes, I do recommend that you move at least 1.5 kilometers away from the asteroid, as it's going to release a shockwave that will damage your ship. The distance will vary depending on your shields, but from my experience, being slightly further away is probably going to be safer. Once the countdown is finished, the rock will explode, and this is time for you to deploy your collection limpets and lower your cargo scoop. The limpets will collect the pieces that have been ejected from the explosion. You're going to need to fly towards the broken pieces and use your abrasion blaster to remove the chunks on the inside. Once all the pieces have been collected, don't worry, they do refine themselves and they will go into your cargo hold. Move on to your next rock. If your cargo hold is full, then it's time to sell up. The best place to find a good price is Inara.cz. The link for this is going to be in the description below. Click Market at the top, scroll down and click the commodity you are trying to sell. On the next screen, type in the system you are in and click Search. Then click Best Sell. This will give you a list of stations starting with the best price. I would go to the nearest that pays the top price. Once you've sold your cargo, you're ready to head out prospecting again. Well, there you go, Commanders, a quick guide to outfitting to core mining. Do bear in mind that these are all suggested loadouts and there is still some skill involved, which I will have to leave up to you to get right. Thank you for watching, and please make sure that you do like, subscribe, and whilst you're there, turn on notifications so you get an alert every time I put a new video out. Also, if you are looking to support the channel, please check out the links in the description below, as there are a couple of different ways to do so. Once again, thank you for watching. Commander Plater, out.